introduces the horror genre in the use of music. The music in which we've added adds suspense to the opening through the title sequence, which sets up the first action we see in the sequence. The very first glimpse that the viewers get of what genre is in the opening is through the credits. We've used a stormy, rainy, dark background, which is key within a horror film, as it represents sadness, depression, and something bad is about to happen.
We also represent the horror genre by the natural sounds, which are in the opening. Examples of the natural sounds which we have in our sequence are footsteps of them running. The emphasis on the horror genre, as in many horror films this happens and can be a major influence, like in ours. The natural sounds at the very end of the train going past represent how the people have gone missing and can be the end or the start of something new.
The camera angles which we've used in the opening sequence represent the horror genre. This use of the over-the-shoulder shot and shot-reverse shot and the point-of-view shot. The use of the over-the-shoulder shot lets the viewer be able to see through the point of the antagonist and what he gets to see. This makes the viewer feel more involved and in with the action. The use of the shot-reverse shot gets the viewer to be able to see in detail of what is happening. By using this shot, it makes the viewer feel like they're in the point of action of which the actor is and are directly involved within the action. They also get to see all the details in which this is happening and do not miss out on anything. The point of view shots also gives extra emphasis on the viewer being directly involved within the action and that they are the person in the shot.
It is a good example of what happens in most teenagers' lives, as they tend to portray extremely dramatic lifestyles when they tend to be quite simple. Even though they are fully aware of the fact that someone went missing in the area, they are still about to go through with it. This relates to how teenagers are seen to be reckless, rebellious, and go against what they are supposed to do and do the opposite. Also, the split of what is expected from each gender is shown here, as the female protagonist hesitates about entering the woods, yet the male protagonist is convinced that everything will be okay, which links to how lads are seen as braver and see less danger in everything they do. Another stereotypical social situation portrayed is that of romance. This happens in more or less every film you watch, and there is bound to be a couple or romance which occurs throughout the film. This links to how the main protagonists could be seen to be in a relationship as they hold hands, and she looks at him for reassurance when she is scared.
The main antagonist is male, which is a massive conventional aspect for most horror genre films. This is because men are seen to be more aggressive, strong and overpowering, so it fits well to that of an antagonist.
The fact that the character which is seen to have gone missing is a 16-year-old relates to how society sees teenagers as not very responsible and more vulnerable to bad things happening to them. However, it goes against how most teenagers that go missing are girls, as boys are usually seen to be able to protect themselves more.
Hammer Film Productions will be the type of film studio that might distribute our film, as it is a film production company that is best known for its gothic Hammer horror film genre. Hammer Film Productions first introduced the Hammer horror in 1955 and has created more horror since then, such as the remake Let Me In, The Woman in Black and Dracula. This type of film studio would be most likely to distribute our film, as our film also displays some conventional horror aspects in the opening, similar to the previous products of Hammer Film Productions. We believe that our film would be a smaller independent film, as it would not require that many other locations due to the fact that it's just set in the woods. Therefore, we would not venture far from the idea of isolated houses and the woods. Our film would not require a huge budget due to the fact that it's intended to be a shorter film than most films nowadays, with only a running time of just over an hour.
The audience in which our media production is going to target will be the older teenagers / younger adults. We have set the age rating at 15. We feel that this is appropriate because of the horror genre which our production is, and some scenes which are included in it, such as screaming, heavy breathing and close-up shots, which could all frighten the younger viewers. We use the screaming at the end of the production because it leaves the opening on a bit of a cliffhanger and not knowing what will happen next. The screaming also shows the viewer that the production is a horror, as many horror films include the shouting and screaming in order to create the suspense.
The gender in which we would look to target is both male and female. We feel this because both genders can enjoy a horror film and doesn't discriminate between male or female. Also, the production includes both male and female people in it, which shows both genders are able to view it, and it relates to more than one gender.
The social grade in which our production is targeted for is for anybody who wants to watch it. This is because the production doesn't discriminate from upper, middle or lower class people, and anyone can watch a horror film.
Our group attracted this audience by using typical conventions of a horror film in our opening through the music, title and characterisation. The use of teenage characters in our film sequence could attract teenagers to watch the film, as it makes it relatable in a certain way as they are of the same age. However, the use of the antagonist in our film would also attract teenagers and adults, as it creates a sense of mystery and therefore builds up tension, making the audience want to continue watching the film.
The music and sounds that we use in our opening will attract our audience as they create the general theme of horror. The use of the branch crunching and the scream and the music that we used, Bump in the Night, created the frightening imagery and idea of the horror theme. This will attract the audience as it forms tension and therefore hooks the audience into the film.
The title of our film is Darkwood. The name of our film could attract the audience as it draws the attention of them to the film itself. We use this name as it created a dark and eerie element within the name through the use of dark. The name of the title links to the forest that the characters are last seen at before they go missing and could make the audience understand the film more and create suspense within the audience as they are led to believe that Darkwood Forest could be the base of the antagonist. We have learnt how to film the footage well so that everything will link together properly, and also to use different camera movements, shots and angles to show our understanding of typical camera movements used in a horror film. We also learnt how to upload our footage onto the iMac and then import them into Adobe Premiere Pro so that we could edit the shots together. We also learnt how to use After Effects to make our moving logo. We used After Effects to make our text sweep in and also to make some stars appear in the sky after the text has come in. We developed further understanding of how to import music from incompetech.com into our project on Premiere Pro. We did this by downloading the music that we wanted to use in our opening sequence and place it in our folder for the project so that it was easier to find. Then we imported the music into the project and dragged it onto the timeline so that we could adjust the volume and length.
Since our preliminary task, we have progressed as a group and have worked a lot better together. We have spread our work out more equally than we did during the preliminary task as well, and took turns in filming, recording, the sound effects and editing the footage together. We have progressed in camera skills since our first task, but we have had more practice, and we also had more time so that we could film one shot a couple of times so that we could get a range of shots to choose from. We have used many of the camera movements that we learnt during the preliminary task in our film openings, such as shot reverse shots, over the shoulder shot and pans. We have also progressed in editing as we now understand and have the knowledge of how to make a shot black and white, alter the speed of the shot and add film dissolves in, and also how to adjust the sound to increase the volume of the background music.